Hi everybody, this is Makina again, and I'm here to tell you about my second interaction with Ihi, with her being the host. At first, I was really nervous about our interaction. Like, I've had Indian food before, but I knew it would somewhat be, different, especially coming from someone who has eaten the food their entire life. That was probably one of the hardest things for me. But although I was nervous, I didn't really want to show Ahi that because she came into our interaction happy and enthusiastic, and I didn't want to give her that you know that idea that I didn't want to be there or that I was obviously nervous. But overall, Ahi seemed pretty calm about the whole interaction. I could kind of sense that she was nervous about me tasting the food that she had prepared, but she did a great job at hiding it. So if she even was nervous. As I headed to Ahi's room, I was so nervous and anxious. She had called me maybe a couple days before we had first met and was briefly telling me about some of the foods that she was going to make, and I had to do my research. Long story short, didn't even help. It was pretty much different when I first got to her dorm because some of the ingredients were different or some of the seasonings she used were different. So research didn't help. But once I finally got to Ahi's dorm, she brought me to the basement where her dorm's kitchen was. And when we first got to the basement, you could smell the food just lingering in the hallway. And the smell was different, but it's everything still smelled good. So we finally got to the kitchen, and she was telling me, a little bit more about the food she had made. She had made sambar, naan, aloo gobi, I believe, which is potatoes and cauliflower, and for dessert she made kheer and Mysore pak. Then she decided to describe each food in detail. All the food was great, everything was flavorful, everything was good. Well, kind of until I got to the kheer. I had kheer before, but it was not good. It was just the consistency, it was nasty, the taste, and it was sweet, but it was tangy at the same time. It wasn't what I thought it would be. But I didn't want to offend Ahi, so I ended up eating it anyway. When I took the first bite, I was so surprised because I was expecting it to taste so horrible, but it tasted so good. I had told Ahi about my concern, and she had told me that all restaurant here is always bad. We just laughed about it because it made me feel so much better. I didn't want her to think that I didn't like the food, but everything was really good, and I had a great time. After me and Ahi had finished eating, we started talking about our last interaction and kind of started to make these interactions a permanent thing. We kind of figured out a way to try each other's food, so we agreed on once a month she would make something of my culture and I would do the same for hers. And before we could even settle on anything, we both busted out laughing because we knew that it was going to be interesting and how this was going to work. And we decided it would be a fun idea and it would be way worth a try, to see whether or not we can cook each other's culture's foods. This whole experience was great. I had a great time with Ahi, It gave me a chance to experience how Ahi was feeling when we first had our first interaction. The food was absolutely delicious, and the conversation was awesome. I'm glad I was able to put my opinions and my experience, aside and accept her culture just as she did to mine. I'm starting I'm starting to learn that every culture is different, and it takes the right person to be able to acknowledge that everyone is different and that everyone wants to be accepted.